Hi, welcome to my video. My name is Ignacio Berroa, and today we're going to be focused on Afro-Cuban rhythms as they apply to the drum set. I'm from Havana, Cuba, and I have been in this country for the past 15 years. I had the honor and the pleasure of being part of Dizzy Gillespie's quintet, and that allowed me to go all over the world. And in all those places, different places like Japan, France, Africa, people came up to me and asked me a lot of questions about how do I apply Afro-Cuban rhythms into American music, all the styles, funk, rock, Brazilian music. By the end of this video, we're going to be talking about the rhythm that have captured the attention of all the drummers all over the world for the past 20 years. This rhythm is songo. But before we go to songo, I'm going to give you a briefing about his roots, background, where songo came from. So for that matter, we're going to go back to folkloric music. The main thing that I want you to do today is to concentrate on the feel that we should put into this music, because it's the most important thing. I don't want you to be worried about to play the right notes on the right places, the right patterns, because the important thing in this type of music, as in any kind of music, is the feel. Now, how do we get the feel? Very easy. Go out, buy the records, go and see the people that play this music, and when you go and see these people playing the music, I want you to concentrate in the whole band, not just in the drummer. It's like if you listen to Miles Davis, don't concentrate on Tony Williams. You have to listen to Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, the whole band. So the same thing you're going to do when you go and see the people playing Cuban music. You got to see what the piano player is doing, how he's comping, how the bass player is playing his tumbao. So that's going to help. In my opinion, the only way that you're going to get the right feel of the music is paying a lot of attention, doing a lot of listening, and paying respect to the music. Now I want to bring someone who is a great example of what you can do when you devote your time and you pay attention and respect to this music. This person is a dear friend of mine. I met him years ago when my English was zero. He's a great musician and percussionist from San Francisco, my friend Michael Spiro.
I think the first place that we should start is with the concept of clave. It's the first question that I'm sure everybody asks you, they ask me about. So let's try and start there and explain the concept of clave.
Mike, I would say that clave is a pattern and a feel around which all the parts of the music has to fit. It's like a guide that will tell you how to play this music.
I think maybe you should go on and explain. People always go, well, how many claves are there? And, you know, I hear there's 5 million claves. Try and explain a little bit about that.
Well, Mike, there are just two claves. Son clave and rumba clave, not rumba. Rumba clave. Let me play this for you. Son clave. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So 2-bar pattern.
2-bar pattern.
Okay.
On the first bar, we got 3 beats.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Second bar, 1, 2.
So you put them together and you get
3, 2 clave.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
good.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Now, rumba clave.
Yeah. Count it for me.
I'm going to count for you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some people get confused. Why? Because they think that because rumba clave start like,
That those are 2 notes.
they think it's 2, 3. No, it's still 3, 2. Like the clave we played before, son clave.
So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2,
chacata,
3,
1, 2.
1,
Chacata,
2,
chacata,
3.
1.
Okay, so what you're saying is when people talk about 3-2 clave, they're saying that there's 3 notes in the first bar, second notes, 2
Right.
notes in the second bar.
Mhm.
So what confuses people then a lot is that sometimes the music starts where the second bar comes first,
Mhm.
so the 2 notes, everything is reversed.
Reverse, so,
So then you'd have 1, 2, let's do son clave.
okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 1, 2,
3.
1, 2, 1, 2. So the thing to point out is that's still son clave.
Yes.
It's just the second bar comes before the first bar.
right.
And it
Exactly.
gives it a different feel.
Exactly.
And you could have the same thing for rumba clave. You
Sure.
could have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and you can have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2,
Right.
1, 2, 3.
3.
So there's only 2 claves.
That's right. Just
But
2.
by being able to switch them around, now it sounds like there's 4.
Just 2.
Let's show them how the 2 claves fit just against the 8th note count. So
Okay.
let's start, you clap the son and I'll just count the 8th notes. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. Great. Now let's do la rumba.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Great. So there's only a half beat difference,
Exactly.
but they feel different. They have
Mhm.
they give different feels to the music.
That's right.
So son clave, rumba,
Rumba
clave.
clave. Just 2 claves.
Now then the question that the next question everybody asks is, so how do I know not only whether it's son clave or rumba clave, but how do I know whether to play 3-2 or 2-3?
Well, my answer will be the melody will tell you which clave you should play. So,
Explain. What do you
okay,
mean?
what do you do? So you listen to the melody, and it's very simple. You clap your hands, and you see which one fits better.
So when you say fits, what you really mean is
It's the feel.
which one feels
Feels
best.
better. Yeah,
So
best.
so give them an example.
Wow, that's a good one. I remember this old song. It's a famous song from Cuba. And I don't know why this came to my mind now, but it goes like this. Yengere kuma, buena noche, buena noche. Yengere kuma, buena noche, ¿cómo está usted?
Now try it the other way.
Okay.
So what you're saying is if I want to figure out which one to do,
So
now
now-
you try the other way and you see how that
yeah,
fits.
I'm going to try to do that. It's very hard.
Okay.
Yengere kuma, buena noche, buena noche. Yengere kuma, buena noche, ¿cómo está usted?
That's hard, huh?
And by the way, I saw a lot of big arguments in Cuba about that. So don't feel bad if you are rehearsing with your band and there are argument between you and the bass player because he feels the clave in one place and you feel the clave in the other place. But that is my best advice. That's the only way that I can explain. The melody will tell you which clave you should play. And the best thing to do is to clap your hands and see which one feels best.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back now. Let's trace the roots of songo. Let's go back and show people where it came from.
Since the drums is the latest addition to our music, we have to go back to rumba and play rumba, because in rumba we have three important elements. We have cáscara, we have clave, and bombo.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we play rumba in a traditional style so that we can explain what those parts are and how they fit?
Great. Well, in order to do so, I want to bring another friend of mine who's, in my opinion, the greatest conguero in the world, my dear friend, Giovanni Hidalgo. Now we are going to show you what we call the cáscara pattern.
Okay.
Spyro.
I'll count it off. 1, 2, Now we'll add the tumadores with Giovanni and we'll play the entire rumba. Okay? I'll count it off again. 1, 2, So what you do is you take that bass note that Giovanni plays in the rumba, you put that on your bass drum.
That's right.
And then you take the clave and you put that on your side stick on the snare.
Right here, yeah.
And you take the cáscara and you put that on the floor tom, and you put all those parts together from the traditional rumba and you play it by yourself on the drum set.
That's right.
Okay, so let's demonstrate that. I'm going to count it. Why don't you start with the clave and then we'll bring each one in.
All right.
Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Now the cáscara. And the bass drum. Yeah, speaking of feel. Now, why don't you and Giovanni play a rumba together now?
All right.
He'll play the tumadores, you play that, and a rumba together with the two of you guys. And then they can hear the whole context.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, I also know that you get a lot of, when you play 6/8, you get a lot of your parts from the folkloric 6/8 music, from both what we might call bembe, and from awakwa, right? And so first, why don't we play a traditional bembe, where you maybe just play the bell part, and I'll play some chekere. Giovanni can play the drum parts, and then why don't you show us how you take all those parts and you put them together on the drum set. So now that's how it might sound in a traditional context. Now, just like we did with the rumba, where you took all the parts and you played them by yourself, now why don't you show us how you would take this 6/8 rhythm and take those parts and put it on the drum set. So let me count you in.
Okay.
Let's do one at a time. Why don't you start with the bell, and then we'll bring you in one at a time. Okay? So nice and slow. We'll say dun 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 dun. And now the tom. And now the kick. Now, I know that you have other 6/8 parts that you play. I know that you have something that comes from the awakwa tradition, which is another folkloric style of playing from Cuba. And why don't we play a traditional awakwa with Giovanni, and then we'll come back and you can show us how you apply that, put those together on the drum set.
Okay.
Okay? Now, why don't you show us how you adapt that playing all by yourself? Okay, so I'm going to count it in again. Start with the bell, and then one at a time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Toms. And kick. Great. And I also think what's really nice about that is people can see that once again we're back to clave as the organizing principle around which everything has to fit. So that was great. Let's go from here. From the folkloric music, the next thing that we want to talk about is the danzón.
Danzón is a very distinctive style of music from Cuba that date from the end of the 19th century. And it is important because that's where the timbales came from. The timbale was invented to play danzón. And it was the first time that people who play stick, like we were talking before, folkloric music, rumba, cascara, with sticks.
Yeah.
So this was the first time that the person that was playing sticks was playing the head.
Right.
Timbales. So the timbales were invented to play danzón.
And so the drum set, the timbales came before the drum set.
Of course, before the drum set. So there was first timbales and then the drum set.
Now, why don't you show us how you would play a danzón on the drum set? Let's put the clave in so everybody can really see how it fits. So I'll count in real slow, and the danzón will do 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2,
Mike, I think that another important thing that we should mention is that, speaking about danzón, is that later on danzón became a danzón cha, which the pioneer of that movement was the great Cuban bass player Israel Lopez Cachao. And from there, that danzón cha became a cha-cha-cha, who's a rhythm that everybody knows all over the world. So now we are going to play with the band a beautiful tune from South America called Alfonsina y el Mar. So we're going to start playing this tune as a danzón, and then later on we're going to take it as a cha-cha-cha.
So we've covered the folkloric forms. We've talked about danzón, and now we come to the son montuno in our tracing the development of what will become songo very soon.
Son montuno is a Cuban style of music that is still popular. It was very strong in Cuba in the 40s and the 50s. People like Arsenio Rodriguez, Benny Moré. And son montuno is what people today call salsa. What I will say is that when you listen to someone like Eddie Palmieri, Oscar de León, Celia Cruz, what you really listen is Cuban music.
And its relationship to songo would be?
Well, I will say that son montuno is to songo what swing is to bebop.
So it's like the predecessor to songo.
I will say so.
Great. And so what we want to do then is show the traditional parts, where here really a lot of the cáscara and the clave gets put on the timbal, and we have the conga drum, and then we're going to see how you put those parts on the drum set. Great. Okay, so let's start with the timbal, and we'll go from there. 1, 2, ah. I think it's important for us to mention that the mambo, and particularly what here in this country they call the mambo craze, but really was a part of American culture and American music in the sense that it really flourished here in New York City. And the era of the Palladium with Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, Machito, the whole dance movement, and it's important that people know that that did happen not just in Cuba, but happened here in the United States. I'd like to see you play your Son Montuno on drum set now, all by yourself. Do it nice and slow, because I know that it's a kind of thing that American drummers were playing, yeah?
Most of the American drummers, when they try to play Latin jazz, what they're trying to do is the pattern that we do when we play Son Montuno.
So I'll play the clave. Let's do it slow. Do you want to start with the cascara and then go to the cymbal? Okay. And let's stay slow for a while, and then you can, whenever you feel like you want to take it up to tempo. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, Nice. Now, the first question I would want to ask about this is, do you play that if you're playing in the trio, it's piano, bass, and yourself, and it's a Son Montuno kind of a thing, you play that. Now, if Giovanni is playing with you, do you play the same thing?
Yes.
You do?
I play the same thing. The only thing is that I play the same thing softer. I try not to overpower Giovanni.
Okay, but the notes that you play on the tom-tom are really the same notes, that you play on the conga drum.
Congas.
So you don't change your pattern if there's a conga player or if there's not.
I don't. So what I try to do is not to overpower Giovanni or whoever is playing congas.
Right.
Sometimes I might rest, just keep the ting, ting, ticking, ting, 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 ting.
So really what you're doing then in that sense is accenting more around the set than you are necessarily playing the same notes that he's playing.
Exactly. Here now is another way to play same thing.
Okay, yeah. 1, 2,
another thing that I want to add, the same pattern that you play on the side of the tone is the same pattern that you're going to play when you go to your cymbal. When do I play on the side of the tone? At the beginning of the tune, on the piano solo.
So any place where it's
Dynamically down.
Then when you want to bring the
Exactly.
dynamic up. So that's
You're very smart, man.
Oh man, you don't know. So really, actually, though, that's like an American player. Hi-hat when you want to bring it down.
Same thing. Same thing.
In all the examples that we've played for the Somontuno, I've been playing the clave so people can see how all the parts fit with the clave. On the tune that we're about to play, I'm going to start playing clave, and then I'm going to stop playing for a while. And what we want is the people who are listening to see if they can keep the clave while the tune goes on. Then I'm going to bring it back in for the drum solos, so to try to help people find it while while the soloing is going on. So you want to introduce the tune?
Yes, now we're going to play this tune called Friday Morning, and in this tune we're going to have a very special guest, a great percussionist from Cuba, Changuito. Now let's talk about songo. Songo is a combination of all the rhythms that we just played. Songo is played in rumba clave. It's not a part, but a concept. It has to do with what the piano does, what the bass player does, and what you have to do, of course, here. There is not such thing as the songo beat. It's like if I go to Tony Williams and ask him, show me the jazz beat, or if I go to Dave Garibaldi and ask him, show me the funk beat. The same thing with songo. I really don't like when people come to me and tell me, Ignacio, could you please show me the songo? It's not like that. It's like I said before, you have to go, do a lot of listening, go and see the people play, use your own creativity, and then you're going to be playing songo. Okay, now I'm going to play the first groove very slowly.
Great. And I'll play clave with you, so count it in for me.
Please. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So in those 4 examples that you just played and slowed down, hopefully everybody can see that that those contain all the elements of the folklore stuff and the danzón, and so all those elements are what go together to make up songo, that it's a concept more than a particular part.
And now it's my pleasure and an honor to present someone who everybody thinks that is the father of Afro-Cuban percussion, Mr. José Luis Quintana, better known as Changuito. Changuito.
¿Cómo estás, hermano?
Un placer.
Bien, igualmente.
Tenerte aquí, un honor.
Para mí también, muy grande.
Y bueno, ahora vamos a hablar un poco. Esto parece una cosa irreal.
Sí, sí.
Que tú estés aquí, y de verdad que yo me siento muy orgulloso que tú participes en mi video por lo que tú representas para mí y para todos los percusionistas de Cuba y alrededor del mundo. We want to talk about the songo, when it was created. We want to talk about all the movement that he created about this rhythm after Blas Edwards, who was a great Cuban drummer, who was the first drummer for Los Bam Bam, left the band and Changuito came along. Changuito took the songo to another level.
Blasito fue el primer percusionista baterista que tuvo los Bam Bam. Fue el primero que grabó todos los movimientos en aquel entonces con la orquesta Bam Bam. Al llegar yo, empecé a utilizar esos mismos movimientos, pero me era tan... no
¿Te sentías cómodo?
me llegaba. Y entonces hice así y lo viré. ¿Qué sucede? Seguimos con esa misma línea, pero viene el problema de mi creatividad, entonces con el songo también, que fue donde introduje los platos. Ahí fue ya donde todos los percusionistas, según versiones me han dicho, de aquí, de allá, de otro país, no, que el son y el songo, y ahí, y eso fue lo más grande de la vida.
Chango, yo recuerdo que los Bam Bam tenían un número muy popular, entre tantos, porque es que formé todos los números que los Bam Bam han tocado, todos han sido hits. Pero yo me acuerdo ahora sí de este número en particular, un número que decían, que se llama Si no te pones para las cosas. Y yo me acuerdo que tú hacías una cosa increíble. Vaya, que todo el mundo se volvió loco porque es que era una cosa que sonaba África.
Sí.
Eso era África con son montuno.
Sí, señor.
Y yo quisiera, si a ti no te importa, que más o menos tú tocaras un poquito de ese movimiento.
Pero solito así.
Bueno, chicos, espérate, por aquí anda. Mira quién está ahí. Giovanni. ¿Por qué tú no vienes aquí y nos ayudas aquí a tocar el movimiento?
Arriba, mi compadre.
Señor Jornet.
Papá. Bien.
Now I want to say something. There is not such thing as Latin music. I have seen a lot of people that when they see a chart that says Latin, they start playing samba. You can play also joropo. It's a rhythm from Venezuela. There is another joropo from Mexico. You can play tamborito from Panama. You can play partido alto, samba, you name it, a lot of rhythm from Brazil. You can play merengue from Dominican Republic. You can play soca from the Caribbean islands. So there is not such thing as Latin music. I want you to see the difference in the rhythm and in the feel of when you play samba and when you play Afro-Cuban rhythms. So here we're going to give you an example of playing samba and then going to Afro-Cuban rhythms so you can see the difference in the rhythm and the difference in the feel. So now, as a conclusion, I want to give you some final thoughts. From my experience as a teacher and going around the country doing clinics, I have seen that drummers, they are too worried today about pyrotechnics and playing a lot of licks and things like that. The most important thing about this instrument is to lay down the groove and the feel. So I want you to keep that in mind, and don't forget that that is our job as a drummer. We are hired to play the groove, to make the music happen. Nobody cares how fast we play, how many licks we can do. That comes later. So I want you to concentrate on that. And also, as you have seen in this video, I devote a lot of time to learn how to play jazz and other type of music, other type of music. That you will do the same thing with my music, that you devote your time and you pay respect to what some people call Latin jazz and other people call salsa, and I call Cuban music. So I want you to dedicate your time to do a lot of listening and to pay respect to this music. Before I will thank these musicians that I have here today, Danilo Lopez, David Sanchez, Giovanni Hidalgo, John Benitez, and my dear friend Michael Spy. Without you, it wouldn't be very hard to do this project. And also I want to thank my friend David Garibaldi, who was the one who gave me the final push to do this, and to Sandra first thing for believing me. And also DCI, you have been great. I hope that you get something out of this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.